Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's Atlantic Tropical Update. So we now have 3 areas to watch in the Atlantic Basin, looking at our far easterly disturbance as of 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday, August the 16th, 2023. A tropical wave near the Cabo Verde Islands is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This system is forecast to move towards the west-northwest at about 15 miles per hour, with an area of low pressure expected to form in a day or so just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. Further development of the low is possible, and a tropical depression could form over the weekend before environmental conditions become unfavorable by early next week. Formation chance through 48 hours is low at 30%, and formation chance through 7 days is medium at 40%. And then we have another disturbance in the central main development region. As of 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday, August the 16th, 2023, disorganized showers and thunderstorms located over the central tropical Atlantic are associated with an elongated trough of low pressure centered about 100 or 750 miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression could form during the next several days, while moving towards the west or west-northwest at about 10 miles per hour across the central tropical Atlantic. Formation chance through 48 hours is low at 30%, and formation chance through 7 days is medium at 50% with this system. And then we have the system that I'm most concerned about. We have disturbance 3 in the Gulf of Mexico as of 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday, August 16, 2023, western Gulf of Mexico. A broad area of low pressure could form in the central or western Gulf of Mexico by the beginning of next week. Some slow development of the system is possible thereafter as it moves westward and approaches the western Gulf of Mexico coastline by the middle of next week. Formation chance through 48 hours is low near 0%, and formation chance through 7 days is low at 20%. However, I am kind of concerned about the system in the Gulf, and I'm going to be showing you why in the next part of this video. So looking at the sea surface temperatures across the Atlantic Basin, Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, nearly the entire Gulf of Mexico is between 86 degrees and 92 degrees in these orange shades and these dark orange shades. So any kind of tropical system that gets going in the Gulf of Mexico has the potential to explosively intensify due to these extreme sea surface temperatures. So even though the system only has a 20% chance of development, if you live anywhere from Mississippi through Louisiana, Texas, into Mexico, I would be watching this Gulf of Mexico system very closely. And even as we go into the western Atlantic, the Caribbean, widespread temperatures of 30 degrees Celsius to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and then nearly the entire central Atlantic is at least 80 degrees to 86 degrees, far above average and more than capable of producing powerful hurricanes if the other conditions are right. So this hurricane season is likely going to explode in the next 2 weeks to a month or so. And looking at the wind shear map across the Gulf of Mexico, we have almost no wind shear across most of the Gulf of Mexico. If this holds, then the chances for a tropical storm to form in the Gulf are going to be very high, and we could even see a hurricane if we can get the tropical system to intensify quickly. We got the extreme warm ocean temperatures, and we got almost no wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico, stopping this system from going. And then looking into the Atlantic Basin, the main development region, we have about 10 to 20 knots of shear, so any system in the main development region could also develop. However, we thankfully have some wind shear across the Caribbean and West Central Atlantic that would prevent any tropical storm that forms in the Atlantic from explosively intensifying to a major hurricane. So at least we got some wind shear in the Atlantic and Caribbean working in our favor to subside any major hurricane development. And then looking at the relative humidity in the GFS model for the next 7 days, We do have a lot of dry air in the Atlantic Basin for these systems in the Atlantic, and have some dry air in the Gulf right now. But as we move out into the next several days, going into Tuesday and into Wednesday, there's going to be a moist pocket moving into the main development region with our tropical waves. And this is going to likely allow for at least one of these to develop into a tropical storm or hurricane, or maybe not a hurricane, but at least a tropical storm by Friday. And then going into Saturday, we could see two tropical storms, with the westerly system being the stronger one, and the easterly system might have to contend with some more dry air going into Sunday and Monday. The dry air eats up the system to the east, and the system to the west remains a strong tropical storm, although it looks like the dry air might get to this system as well. However, if you notice the Gulf of Mexico, even though the models are not developing any kind of tropical storm, by Monday, Tuesday, the entire Gulf of Mexico is moist. There is moisture in the mid levels of the atmosphere, and if the very low wind shear remains, then there's nothing stopping tropical development in the Gulf of Mexico, in my opinion. So make sure you're really watching out if you live across the central and western Gulf. Now, looking at the GFS model. Now, the GFS model develops these main development region systems into tropical depressions by Friday, and then we could see the westernmost system become a tropical storm by Saturday as it moves to the west, and then the eastern system gets eaten up by the dry air by Monday, while the western system struggles with the dry air as well, although the GFS model eventually develops the western system into potentially a hurricane by Friday. But as of right now, it looks like this potential hurricane is going to miss the Caribbean and also Bermuda, although I'm going to continue to monitor these systems in the main development region as well. And looking at our Gulf of Mexico system, although the GFS is not developing the system yet, all the ingredients are there for a tropical cyclone regardless of what the models are showing at this time, seeing a tropical wave moving across the Gulf into Texas by Tuesday and Wednesday. And looking at the European model for our tropical systems, the European model is developing two tropical depressions by Friday and Saturday in the main development region, and then the European model also dissipates these systems as we go into Tuesday due to the dry air in the main development region, although the European model brings one of these systems closer to the Caribbean. And then watching the Gulf system, by Monday, we have our wave off of Florida, our tropical wave, and then the European model moves an area of heavy rain across the Gulf of Mexico into Louisiana and Texas by Tuesday and Wednesday, and the European actually shows some signs of development by Tuesday and Wednesday in the west central Gulf as a big surge of heavy rain moves into Texas. So I'm going to continue to really monitor this Gulf system closely over the next several days, as well as these systems in the main development region, if the tracks decide to change or the environmental conditions improve for development in the Atlantic Ocean. And then I'll also be doing an update on Tropical Storm Hillary tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and have a wonderful evening, my friends.